A very good morning and welcome everyone to match number 9 of the Women's Premier League here at the Sano International Cricket Ground. Today it's the Pacific Sunrays taking on the ECT Meteors in what promises to be a fascinating clash between two competitive units packed with all around talent. And there's already a little bit of recent history between the two sides. The last time they met, ECT Meteors chased down 125 with authority, winning by 7 wickets thanks largely to the magnificent unbeaten half century from the captain Grace Leons. So the Pacific Sunrays will definitely have revenge on their minds today, and soon we will be having the lineups. Here it is. Well, McKinley Blues will lead the side, and she'll be the central to everything to what they do. Aggressive by nature, energetic in field, and someone who loves taking the game on early. Alongside her, players like Noora Abdul Qadir and Mia Gordon provide solidity in the batting lineup. Noora looked dangerous in the previous meeting, striking boundaries early on and giving the innings some momentum. Keep an eye on Vaishnavi, Manu Kutla, and Guhikavich, both genuine all-rounders who can influence the game in multiple ways. And behind the stumps, Hinase Gato has an important role to play, especially standing up to the spinners. One interesting change for Sunrays, Grace Mitchell is in the 11 today, while Mia Gordon misses out from the combination listed earlier that would slightly reshape the batting order and perhaps give them a bit more balance in the overs. Well, the Meteors won the toss and elected to field first, a side that has looked incredibly composed throughout the tournament, led by Grace Leons. They've got experience, discipline, and perhaps importantly, clarity in their roles. Grace Leons herself is the big headline name in the last encounter against the Sunrays. She anchored the chase beautifully with an unbeaten 50, timing the ball superbly and rotating the strike with ease. And when she gets going, she makes batting look very simple. Well, Paris Bowler will be handling the wicket-keeping duties and can also provide quick runs at the top. Brie Dillon is another key player. She was sensational with the ball in the previous clash, picking up 3 wickets and breaking the backbone of Sunray's batting lineup. Well, then also there's Amber Smith, Monica Gare, Haida Lever, Stella Wilde. Plenty of all round depth in this Meteors side, and that's what makes them dangerous. They bat deep, they've got multiple bowling options, and they adapt very quickly to the match situations. A quick word on the conditions here in Sano. Generally, a surface where timing the ball early is important, but as the game progresses, slower balls and spin can become very effective. We have seen teams enjoy chasing here, especially when the dew, of course, also settles later in the day. But this is the first game of the two which will be played today. So the cross toss, well, it has been crucial, and of course, the Meteors have won it and elected to field. Well, there are some exciting individual matchups to watch out for, of course. Brie Leon up against McKinley Blues with the new ball. Grace Leons against the Pacific Sunrays spin attack, and potentially the crucial middle overs batter involving Vaishnavi Manuputla and Stella Wilde. Both teams have strong all-round cores. Both teams love playing attacking cricket, and in the tournament like the WJPL, momentum can shift very quickly. So wherever you're joining us from, settle in for what should be another entertaining chapter in the Women's Japan Premier League. Match number 9, Pacific Sunrays versus the ACT Meteors, and we are just moments away from the first ball. Alrighty then, here we go. Ball number one of this match number nine. And straight away played down the ground by Noura Abdul Kader to get off the mark. So the first run on the board straight away for the Pacific Sunrays, who have won one out of the first three. And on the other hand, the ACT Meteors have won two out of the three before losing the last game. The ECT Meteors losing out to Mamushi in their previous game. As Kato is starting off with the new ball and this time played nicely. Katie Peterson is up and running with a boundary. That's an excellent shot behind off square. And straight away, 4 runs added just to the second delivery of the innings. It was a low full toss. And well, she had to put it away as well. And she accepted the invitation very nicely. Well, this is a nice little start. This time she drives, but straight to the fielder at mid-off. Well, seems to be a very exciting contest. The Pacific Sunrays, of course, finished second last year, with Mamushi finishing first. And in this year's competition, it seems like the ACT Meteors are the favorites. As we see another delivery, Katie Peterson just settling in still. Well, we have seen some very good innings as well so far in this WJPL, and the standards of the batting has increased a lot from the previous seasons. Once again, played back at the bowler. Good bowling this by Kato. She's conceded a boundary and she's come back ever so well. As she tries to keep things tight in this very first over. So the last delivery of this first, and it's a full toss, and once again pulled away, and once again in the similar gap where she puts that one away once again. That's the second boundary of this first over. And thankfully for Kato, it's not been given as a no ball. It was very close to being above the waist height. And this is a very good start for the Pacific Sunrays. And Katie Peterson gets her second boundary in the very first over itself. It's 9 without a wicket after the first. Right, and we continue now in this second over, and there's the opening breakthrough. Wow, what a start! Well, how often do we see spin being brought into the attack with the new ball? And that's the big wicket of Noura Abdul Kader, who is a dangerous batter inside the power play. There's a reason why she comes out to open, and she's been clean bowled by the first delivery of spin, Brie Dillon, the bowler. And it's 9 for 1 for the Pacific Sunrays. Right there, in comes Grace Michelle. A few tweaky changes in the batting lineup as she comes in here at number 3. Once again, nicely bowled by Brie DeLon, who is an impressive off spinner. Another dot delivery. And this time just pushed on the leg side. This is very good bowling by Brie DeLon. Not offering much to the batters, and something like this was needed after a bridal start in the first over by the Pacific Sunrays. This time wanting to cut that one away. Well, absolutely superb. A wicket maiden just off the second over in this game. Brie DeLon has once again set the stage on fire. At the end of the second, it is 9 for 1 for the Pacific Sunrays. Well, we continue now in this third over as Heidi Lever is now into the attack, taking off Kato, who conceded plenty of runs in that first over. So 9 came of the first, and still the score is 9. And this is very good by the ACT Meteors, who seem to be the favorites out here in this year's competition. They have a very strong lineup. Once again, driven by Katie Peterson, but straight to the fielder. As Heidi Lever continues to bowl the line outside the off stump, asking the batter to fetch and go for it. So they get so that she can find maybe the edge or one mistimed shot which can just fly into the hands of one of the fielders on the offside. There are quite a few. Well, this time slightly straighter, so Katie Peterson just punches that one towards the fielder at long on. And finally, they get another run, and the score is into the double figures now for the Pacific Sunrays. So Grace Michelle now on strike, who is yet to get off the mark. Well, that's a wide delivery. This time, way too wide from the batter. So we see the first extra of this innings, with the score moving on to all ones. Well, once again, cut away, and once again, straight to the fielder. This is really good by Heidi Lever. Once again, another over where not much has been offered, and Grace Michelle, well, not quite able to get off the mark yet, is the Australian. Well, quite a few Australians in both the sides. Once again, another excellent delivery. Well, that was very close to going on and hit the stumps. This is really good by the pace bowler. With one more delivery left, only the one scoring shot and that wide. Can she close it out nicely here? Once again driven, and this time it's in the gap. So Grace Michelle is off the mark, and she is off the mark with a classical cover drive through the offside for a boundary, and just spoils the over for Heidi Lever. 6 runs come off it in the end. Well, she knew exactly where she was going to bowl Heidi Lever, and Grace Michelle was pretty much ready for it, and she gets the boundary that she was searching for. At the end of the third, now it is 15 for 1 for the Pacific Sunrays. All right, then. That's an interesting call. Kato is back into the attack. Bredalon, who bowled a wicket maiden, has been taken off the attack. As we see Katie Peterson drive that one straight to the fielder on the offside. And this is something that Katie Peterson would be enjoying. Shimako Kato was absolutely brilliant, the Japanese, in the previous game. She bowled at a very tight economy rate. And once again, she's found the gap, Katie Peterson. And that one is also going to run away to the fence. That's the third boundary she's got up against Kato. And there is something that Kato needs to rectify now. Well, she's been dominant out here up against her. And the runs are flowing out of her bat at the moment. Good piece of batting this. So 19 runs and 16 of them have come in terms of boundaries. A couple of singles and a wide so far in this innings. This time pushed back at the bowler. Nicely bowled. Right then, they've got the early breakthrough. And they will be searching for more here, the ACT Meteors. And also, of course, they will be more than confident of chasing the total down because they have a very, very strong batting lineup. Well, in the first meeting between the two, the Pacific Sunrays, well, they started off really well thanks to Noor Abdul Qadir. At one stage, it looked as if 170, 160 is on the cards, but they ended up posting only 124 with hardly any runs in the last five. And in response, the ACT Meteors cruised through to victory with their excellent partnership between the captain and the vice captain, where Grace Leons scored an unbeaten half century. And on that occasion, she takes a single, does Katie Peterson, and brings Grace Michelle on strike. Once again, it's being cut away. But this time, protection out there in the deep on the offside. A sweeper in position who sweeps that one nicely and keeps it down to just one. But once again, 6 runs have somehow come in this over already with one more left. And this time in the air and gone. That's the breakthrough that Kato was searching for. Well, that wasn't the best of the deliveries, and Katie Peterson would be very disappointed with herself. That was a hit me delivery, and she has ended up playing it straight to the fielder out there on this leg side, who was pretty much in to stop that one. And she's taken that one ever so well. Second one gone for the Pacific Sunrays. And that's exactly why Kato was given her second over. It's 21 for 2 at the end of the fourth. Now then, in comes McKinley Blows at number 4. And meanwhile, Grace Michelle has played that one through the offside. They're coming back for the second, and they will make it quite comfortably. Throw not quite strong enough. Well, both the openers are now back in the pavilion as Heidi Lever continues in this fifth over. We're still inside the power play, still only the two fielders outside the inner ring. Once again, just pushed on the offside, straight to the fielder. And now played towards the fielder at point. That's good piece of fielding. So that single brings the left-handed McKinley Blows on strike. McKinley Blows, of course, leading the side once again as Heidi Lever decides to come around the wicket to the left-handed batter. And will that be given as wides? Well, not quite so. Maybe just brushing the pad. So good stuff by Heidi Lever. Although she would be wanting to keep that one slightly more straighter. Well, of course, the left-hand right-hand combination gives an issue to the bowlers. You have been bowling to the right-hander continuously throughout the innings, and all of a sudden you face a left-handed batter who pushes it on the offside, and a slight misfield will let the ball run away to the fence. So that's one way to get off the mark for McKinley Blows, and the captain leading from the front. Well, it was just a gentle push initially, and the fielder, well, not quite able to hold on to the ball and went right through her and into the fence. Well, that was the sixth boundary of this innings now. I beg your pardon, the fifth boundary, as we see one more delivery left in this fifth, and this time guided nicely. Well, the chase is on. Well, the fielder had finally got across a long way, but the fielder at short third has done really well. Well, a couple of runs taken on the last delivery of the over, that is the end of the fifth, with a score at 30 for 2 for the Pacific Sunrays. Right then, the last over of this power play, and another change in the bowling. It is going to be Monica Gare to bowl this last over of the power play. Well, another bowler who likes to take wickets up front. She already has a plenty in this tournament. And this time banged and shot and played nicely on the leg side by Grace Michelle, who takes the single and gives the strike back to her captain. Well, good positive start this for McKinley Blues so far. A boundary to her name and a couple of runs on the last delivery of the previous over. allowing her to go at a strike rate of 200, although just three deliveries into the innings. Well, Monica Gear will continue to come over the wicket to the left-handed batter, so that makes the leg before wicket a difficult option for her. Although she wants to bowl short as it's been pushed on the offside towards the fielder at mid-off. Well, good bowling this by Monica Gare. And now wides. Well, that is exactly the issue of coming over the wicket to the left-handed batter, and thankfully for it, didn't run away to the fence. So three extra runs to the total. Well, it is McKinley blows on strike, not Grace Mitchell. We will have that updated for you shortly. A single came of the second delivery of the over. The same played on the leg side. And now a couple of runs taken by McKinley blows once again. Well, that will be another wide, will it? Yes, it is. Signaled by the umpire. Struggling with her line slightly with the left handed batter operating. But once again, nicely played on the leg side by McKinley blows out towards the fielder in the deep on that leg side. And it's at the moment easy pickings. Well, nonetheless, that's the end of the sixth over with a score of 37 for 2 for the Pacific Sunrays. Right then, the power play overs are done and dusted with the score at 37 for 2 for the Pacific Sunrays. Well, now there will be four fielders outside the inner ring instead of the usual two inside the power play. And meanwhile, an excellent shot by McKinley blows a boundary to start off outside the power play. Once again, easy pickings though. Can't bowl that line, especially with no one out there on the leg side inside the circle or even behind of square. And that's easy pickings for someone like McKinley Blows, who is a very, very good batter. Right then, four fielders outside the inner ring, as it is in women's cricket, instead of the five in men's cricket. Once again, just pushed on the offside, out towards the sweeper on the offside. Well, won't quite reach the fielder out there in the deep. Cut off in the end. Right then, a bit surprising that Bree Dillon was given an over inside the power play. It was a wicket maiden, and then she was nowhere to be seen after that. As we see Grace Michelle once again just push that one on the offside. This time they will get that quick single. And now coming around the wicket to McKinley blows, and once again it's been placed behind off square. The fielder has done really well. She keeps that one in, and a couple of runs taken once again. Well, this is really good by McKinley blows. She is finding the gaps. She's got those boundaries. She is getting those doubles. And she has rotated the strike really well too. Well, this time short and played slightly uppish, but will find the fielder at deep mid wicket. Not quite able to find the gap. Well, that is now the end of the seventh with the score at 47 for 2. Right then. Amber Smith was the fifth bowling option, and now they have turned to Ogawa. Well, that is what happens when your side is so strong. Numerous bowling options just in this eighth over, and this is the sixth bowler which has been used. Meg Ogawa operating for the first time in this tournament. Once again, just pushed on the offside. Well, Ogawa is a Japanese women's cricketer who plays as a right arm medium bowler and lower order batter for the Japan national team. She's been a part of Japan's setup since 2022 and has featured in tournaments like the ACC Women's Premier Cup and the Women's T20 Quadrangular Series. And she bowls that one down the leg side. Well, the 24-year-old picked up her first international wickets against Hong Kong shortly after her debut for Japan. Well, she is known more for her bowling than her batting, of course, as we see another single taken by McKinley Blows through the offside. Well, that single will also bring up the 50 for the Pacific Sunrays, 50 for 2 now after 7.4 overs. This time it has kept low, and Grace Michelle does really well to keep that one out. But she was setting herself up for a shot, and instead of coming onto the bat, it just stayed low, and that could have been disastrous for Grace Michelle. Nonetheless, she does really well as as she survives that delivery. This time, just missing a run up there, Megogawa. So having it to reload. So the last delivery of this eighth. Once again, slightly short outside the off stump. Hit hard and good piece of fielding. Does really well to stop it. That is going to sting a little too. Nonetheless, that's the end of the eighth now, with the score at 51 for 2. Right then, 51 for 2 after 8 overs. And finally, Bridilon is back into the attack. As we see an uppish shot by Grace Michelle. Well, she's not conceded anything at all today so far this morning. Once again, charging down the wicket. Well, this is superb by Bridilon. 8 deliveries bowled, no runs conceded at all. Once again, straight to the fielder. And this time a slide misfield will now allow them to get across. Well, she will be disappointed, Bridilon. That's the first run that she has conceded, and it's thanks to a misfield. Nonetheless, she will now come around the wicket to McKinley Blows, the left-handed batter. As we wait and see how this one pans out. McKinley Blues has been looking very positive and good nick out here today. 19 of 14 for her at the moment. But even she will have to respect the good deliveries up against Bridilon. This time played in the air over the fielder. And the fielder at long on will have to get across. And this time they take a couple of runs. Well, another double taken by McKinley Blues. She has taken quite a few in this inning so far. Well, once again, a very, very good over by Bridilon. Just the three of it. And she bowls a wide delivery. That was the commentator's curse, and I apologize for that. And once again, the last delivery of this ninth. That's a full toss. It's been pulled, and it's pulled into the gap as well. And in fact, it wouldn't have mattered because it's gone all the way. She's found the distance, taken full advantage of the full toss. That's the first maximum of this morning, and the Pacific Sunrays. Now they get some runs and are now going at a good rate too. This partnership is built superbly well and keeps on going. It's 61 for 2 after 9. Right then, Breedalon, who conceded hardly anything up until that maximum, won't be happy at all. As we see Ogawa continue, Meg Ogawa just gave away 4 runs in a first. Well, you would feel Grace Michelle needs to get a move on here though. She is now on 13 of 23 deliveries. Can't afford too many dot deliveries at this stage of the game as we are in the middle overs. Once again, played straight to the fielder. Well, this is good bowling by Meg Ogawa. Well, this time slightly short and picked up by Grace Michelle. Just over the fielder inside the circle, and they come back for the second. Well, once again, very good running between the wickets, and these two have done that one very nicely this morning, as this partnership is now worth 42 between the two. This time, a much better delivery, attacking the stumps on that occasion. And once again, pushed on the offside, and it's gone straight to the fielder. So a quick single taken, and for the first time, we will see McKinley blows on strike. Well, two different types of innings. Grace Michelle on 16 of 27 and McKinley Blues on 27 of 17. She was offered some width and misses out on that one. Just the three coming of this Meg Ogawa over. That is the end of the 10th with the score at 64 for 2. And the umpires have called for drinks. Right then, we continue once again. 64 for 2 after the first 10. And this partnership is now worth 43. 43 unbeaten for the third wicket. As we see Grace Michelle and McKinley Blues doing a very good job. The left hand right hand combination, and how often does it work in this game of cricket? Right then, 6 different bowlers used. As we once again see Heidi Lever. Well, this time a big appeal and it's been given. Now then, they have broken this partnership. It's Heidi Lever who continues to bowl it outside the off stump. Well, once again, wanting to drive Grace Michelle. And how often do we see a wicket coming right after the drinks break? It's just the first delivery after the drinks break. And they've got the breakthrough that they were searching for. 3 gone now for the Pacific Sunrays. 64 for 3 after 10.1. And Grace Michelle, who was, well, pretty much slow with the rate, has departed here for 16. Right then, in comes the wicketkeeper Goto, coming in here at number 5. And once again, there is one way to get off the mark. It's Hinase Goto. Well, Heidi Lever will not be impressed at all as she has conceded a boundary just after taking the wicket. Well, that one was guided really well by the Japanese as she gets a boundary. And this time they get across for a quick single. So that single brings the left-handed McKinley Blues back on strike. Well, Heidi Lever has changed her angle as well, coming around the wicket now. Well, that's a very good delivery once again by Heidi Lever. Well, she'll be very happy to take a wicket this morning, Heidi Lever. She has had a few ups and downs so far in this tournament, in this Women's Japan Premier League. Well, the players did have a good rest yesterday, as we are back here in this day number 4. Saturday and Sunday will also provide day number 5 and 6, the 5th and the 6th game of these league stages in this Women's Japan Premier League. As we see another single taken by McKinley Blues, with one more delivery left in this 11th. The Japanese and the Australian combining out there. Well, a lot to learn for from the captain for Hinase Goto. This time it's been pulled away and straight to the fielder out there at deep square leg. So another single Well, there was a wicket in it, but in the end, they managed to get 7 runs. At the end of the 11th, it's 71 for 3 for the Pacific Sunrays. Right then, Meg Ogawa continuing. She's been superb so far, hasn't she? 2 overs, none for 7. As we see another single that time taken by Goto. Right then, on match day 1, the Pacific Sunrays were in a similar kind of a position. Well, in fact, they were at a much better position, you would say. At one stage, it looked as if 170 was on the cards, and then at the back end of the innings, they just started to slow down a lot and kept on losing wickets and ended up posting only 124. And this could be the stage of the game where something similar can happen. So the Pacific Sunrays will be very well aware of it. And once again, not the best of the deliveries down the leg side, and she's missed out on that occasion as McKinley blows. It's gone straight to the fielder out there. Well, Hinase Goto is looking in good nick out there. Well, she's improvised and brought in the ramp. Not quite enough pace on the ball by Megogawa, and she comes back for the second. This is really good by the wicketkeeper. But she is a very clever batter, is Hinase Goto, a smart operator. Will that be given as a wide? Yes, it will be. In fact, it's a no ball. Now then, a free hit coming up, an opportunity for Hinase Goto to have a whack at one. Well, all this while she has been playing out there with those delicate touch, and now with an opportunity to show some power that she possesses. Free hit coming up, the first one of this morning. Well, shuffled across, and will that be given as a wide as well? We will wait and see. Yes, it will be. So the free hit will continue. They have got across with the single, and now McKinley blows is going to be on strike for the free hit. Brilliant. Opportunity now for McIntyre as well. Now the field can be changed as well, though, because there's a change in the batter. So Ogawa will come around the wicket. And that's another wide delivery. And once again, the wicketkeeper not quite able to collect it. Grace Leons. So the free hit is going to continue. In fact, that's another no ball, but it does not matter if it's a no ball or a wide because the free hit is going to stay and they will be getting a couple of more runs. Well, Ogawa, we praised her so much for the first 2 overs, and this one is turning out to be very expensive now thanks to these wides and no balls. Another opportunity for Goto on the free hit. Well, Goto is trying to play it behind of square on the leg side because there's no one out there. There's a big gap. And this time she plays it on the leg side and she's found the gap but won't quite find the fence. The fielder gets across just in time and a couple of runs taken on this free hit. So finally, she's done with the free hit, Ogawa, and now she has one more delivery left in her third over. Well, a pretty long over this. 10 runs, 11 runs have come of it already, in fact. Well, it has just spoiled her spell, hasn't it? And that's a much better delivery. Cut away and straight to the fielder. So 11 come off it. At the end of the 12th, it is 82 for 3 for the Pacific Sunrays. Well, she is an excellent cricketer, isn't she, Amber Smith? Well, in one of those games, she got a 72 and also took 3 wickets along with that 72. So she can contribute with the bat and with the ball. And she concedes 4 runs so far in this over, halfway through it. Well, the Pacific Sunrays would feel that they have something to build on, as we see another sweep shot by McKinley blows, and the fielder has been set perfectly for that. This time Goto went down on one knee and sweeps for another single. Well, this time played through the offside by McKinley Blues for another single. That is now the end of the 13th. 7 come of it. 89 for 3. But Shimako Kato is back into the attack. 1 for 15 in a 2.1 over so far. Well, she would feel that she has been slightly expensive from her standards, although has taken the wicket too. Well, this time it's gone high in the air. Chance! Diving forwards. What a good catch! Wow, brilliant! Well, the fielding has been really good in this WJPL so far, but this one might go down as one of the catches of the season. Excellent catch. Never easy diving forwards. And it's Amruta Nikam with that catch. Oh, that's absolutely brilliant. Well, she was diving into the rough as well out there. And that's the big wicket. It's the priceless wicket of the captain McKinley blows as the Pacific Sunrays lose their fourth and Shimako Kato gets her second. 89 for 4 now. Right then, in comes Vaishnavi Manukutla at number 6. Well, once again, an opportunity for the ACT Meteors with the new batter coming in. Well, what a crucial wicket that was of McKinley Blows. She was timing the ball beautifully, she was placing the ball beautifully, and she was looking in extremely good nick out there. Just before being departed by Shimako Kato, who is once again bowling out a superb over here. Well, nicely guided by Vaishnavi through the offside, and they should be able to come back for the second, and they do so quite comfortably. So off the mark, Vaishnavi Manukutla. And now played on the leg side by the all-rounder and takes another single. Right then, that is now the end of the 14th. Another successful over for Shimako Kato. It's 92 for 4. Right, then continuing now in this 15th over with the Indian and the Japanese out there for the Pacific Sun race, Manukutla and Goto. But Hinase Goto has been looking in good nick out there, and she would be wanting to continue up until the end. Very important also to stay at the crease and not play any rash shots and get out unnecessarily, as we see another wide. This time it's Monica Gare with that wide, pretty unlike her. On the other hand, the ACT Meteors, well, they would be feeling that it is an opportunity for them to try and get a few more wickets. This time driven, and once again straight to the fielder. Well, the throw was a rapid one, and Grace Leons was caught by it. And now pushed on the leg side. And they take a couple of runs. Retaining the strike there, Vaishnavi Manukutla. And this time it has been pulled away. Once again, just guided. Well, the boundaries have dried up, and they will need a few from here on. But another 31 deliveries left. 31 more runs will get them to 128, which won't be enough for sure, as they will be wanting to push on a little more, maybe to the 140, 145 mark. Well, 150 will be nothing like it for the Pacific Sun Rays. And the ACT Meteors, well, they have a batting lineup which they believe can chase down anything. As we see a quick single, hustled and got in the end. So that is now the end of the 15th with the score at 98 for 4 for the Pacific Sun Rays. Right, then we continue now as we are into the slog overs now. The last five. Amber Smith is back into the attack. Just pushed on the offside on that occasion by Vaishnavi Manukutla. Once again, cut away out there in the deep. Well, that single will bring Hinase Goto back on strike. A few changes in the field. But to have your wicketkeeper as the captain of your side. The best view in the box is from behind the stumps. And what better than having your wicketkeeper as the captain? Once again, cut away by Hinase Goto, and she will get a couple of runs, which will bring up the 100 for the Pacific Sunrays. 101 for 4 now in the 16th over. Still another 4.5 overs left. How many more can they get from here on? Well, we have spoken a lot about the batting lineup of the AZD Meteors, and they won't be faced by any kind of target that will be given. That's a beautiful delivery. Another very good off spinner by Amber Smith. Once again, just pushed back on the offside. So a couple of dots now for Amber Smith. One more delivery left in the 16th over. Once again, cut away and straight towards the fielder at short third, a single taken. So 4 runs come off that Amber Smith over. Brilliant stuff by Amber Smith at the end of the 16th. It's 102 for 4 for the Pacific Sunrays. Well, Monica Gare will continue now. In the 17th over, Hinase Goto plays it on the offside. Well, sent back, run out chance. And is she gone? Yes, she is. Well, totally needless. The last thing that you need is a run out. And that is exactly what has happened there. Just a gentle push on the offside. It went straight to her. There was never a run there. And a perfect throw, you would feel. And the Pacific Sunrays have now lost half their side. It's 102 for 5 now after 16.1. Right then. A nice little innings by Hinase Goto coming to an end. A nice little innings of 17, with now the score at 102 for 5. And once again, we are witnessing what we witnessed in the reverse fixture. They started off really well and then started losing their way. And that is exactly what is happening out here with the Pacific Sunrays as they are 102 for 5. This time pushed on the offside and a quick single taken. So getting off the mark straight away. And once again wants to go big. It's gone high in the air. And it has landed safely. Well, Ananya Mahajan has been promoted up the order. And she has hit that one for a boundary. That's a very good shot behind square. And some runs once again. Well, it was a low full toss and it had to be dispatched. It was asking for it to be hit. Once again, just pushed on the offside. Straight to the fielder though. When in fact was Vaishnavi Manukutla with that boundary. And not quite Ananya Mahajan. So the last delivery now coming up of the 17th over. Monica Gare has bowled that one on the pads once again. It's been turned away on the leg side by Vaishnavi Manukutla and they take the single. So that is the end of the 17th. It's 108 for 5 now for the Pacific Sunrays. Right then, Bree Dillon is back into the attack, who bowled a wicket maiden first up, and now she's leaking runs. Another boundary is what she has conceded, and Vaishnavi Manukutla, she's doing the job out here with the bat. Once again, a very good shot for a boundary, and Bree Dillon will be wanting to rectify this as quickly as possible. Well, assuming that she would bowl this one and maybe also the final over, but they have quite a few options. Do the ACT Meteors. And Grace Lyons likes to rotate her bowlers and give everyone a chance. Once again, cut away. This time towards the fielder. Once again, pushed down the ground. And now played upish. Another boundary there. And this is the second one of this 18th over. It's turning out to be a bit expensive, this one by Bredalon. Once again, just pushed on the offside. So good sensible cricket, getting a boundary, then a single, and Anya Mahajan does the same. And 10 runs have been accumulated of this over already. One more left. Can she come back here, Bredalon? It's been pushed on the leg side. Another single, so 11 come off it. At the end of the 18th, it's 119 for 5 for the Pacific Sunrays. Well, Heidi Lever will bowl the penultimate over of this innings. Given as a bye by the umpire. Misses out and Grace Leon's couldn't quite collect it. Well, Heidi Lever has got a wicket for herself, and this could be an opportunity for her too, to try and get maybe at least one more. That the batter is trying to accelerate here. Ananya Mahajan is on strike now. Simon low full toss, laid down the ground. And get across for another single. Once again drives does Vaishnavi Manukutla. But nothing more than a single, and they won't mind this, the ACT Meteors. That is what they want. They are trying to restrict the opposition below 140. And on the other hand, the Pacific Sunrays are trying to push. Well, this time she connects Ananya Mahajan, but it's gone high up in the air. And it has landed safely too. Well, once again through the leg side, and this time it finds the gap. So finally the boundary that they were searching for, they have got it. Well, once again bowled onto the pads. Not the best of the deliveries you would feel by Heidi Lever. And they get a much needed boundary in this 19th over. Perfectly, beautifully through the gap. Right then, last delivery for Heidi Lever. 1 for 29 for her this morning. Well, this has been a brilliant innings by Vaishnavi Manukutla as she gets that's back boundaries. This is really good. And Heidi Lever is disappointed with herself. She finishes the 4 overs, 1 for 31. 133 up, and those couple of boundaries have given them some momentum in this last over two now. It's turned out to be a brilliant innings by Vaishnavi Manukutla, who is now on 28 of 20. 131 for 5 after 19. Heading into the last over. So who is it going to be? Amber Smith, Breedalon, quite a few options for Grace Leons. And they have decided to go with Amber Smith. So Ananya Mahajan is going for this last over. It's been pushed on the leg side. It's a single. Once again, wanting to guide that one away. Manukutla. Well, she's batting at the moment on 28, and these are very crucial 28 runs for the Pacific Sunrays. It's been a very good innings so far by her. Well, once again, hit hard through the leg side, and that's found the boundary once again. This is really good batting. Really good batting in the death overs by Vaishnavi Manukutla. Another excellent shot. And once again, the fielder at deep mid wicket, well, diving towards her right, not quite able to stop it. Well, can they push to 145 from here on? Well, this time it's been left alone because it is a wide delivery. Amber Smith trying to keep it away from the arc of the batter. Right then, where does Vaishnavi go now? Well, she fancies the leg side. And she is going to go towards the leg side, but she's missed out on that occasion. Very disappointed, straight to the fielder. And now two more deliveries left in the innings with Ananya Mahajan on strike. Charges down the wicket, runs the first one hard, but I think Vaishnavi Manukutla will be happy to take the one as she wants the strike with the last delivery. Right then, just the one run short of that 140 run mark, which is decent. But can she maximize this last delivery of the innings? It's a swing, it's a miss. And that is also the end of the innings. Well, not sure if it's a dot delivery or a wicket to finish it off. Nonetheless, the Pacific Sunrays will finish at 139. Well, yes, she has been clean bowled. It's a wicket with the last delivery. And the target for the ACT Meteors will be exactly 140 when they come out to chase at 7 runs and over. Well, a decent performance in the end you would feel by the Pacific Sunrays, but they would feel that they could have got at least 10 to 15 more. As we see the batting lineup, well, Noora Abdul Qadir, who scored a half century up against the ACT Meteors on the previous occasion, departed here just for one. Katie Peterson was looking good, just a 14 for her. Grants Michelle, well, 16 of 28, was struggling out there, but McKinley blows a very good innings of 34. And in the end, as you can see, Vaishnavi Manukutla, a nice little counter in the end to get 33 runs. Hinasi Koto was also looking good out there. And also Ananya Mahajan. Well, most of the batters, in fact, almost all of them, apart from Noora Abdul Qadir, got into the double figures, which is a good sign for the Pacific Sunrays. And 14 extras conceded as well. As we see the bowling lineup, a couple of wickets once again for Shimako Kato, 3 overs, 2 for 18, very economical, and a wicket each for Breedalon, Heidi Lever, and Amber Smith. Well, some of the bowlers slightly expensive, especially Heidi Lever, she would feel 8.25. Amber Smith and Breedalon. Well, Breedalon, especially 3 overs, 1 for 21. The first over was a wicket maiden. And if you look at the other 2 overs, she's conceded 21 without taking a wicket, which has made things interesting. Well, Meg Ogawa was also brilliant. For the first 2 overs, she conceded only 7, but in the third, she gave away 11, a couple of no balls and wides, which just did not help the cause for the ACT Meteors. As you can see, that wicket made in the second over, no graph at all, just the white dot. And well, we saw quite a few big overs, the 19th one being the biggest, 12 come of it. And the 18th, well, also produced 11 along with the 12th over. Well, this time they did really well, the Pacific Sunrays in the back 10 as compared in the previous game in the first 10. So a decent performance in the end, and they've posted a decent total. You would feel it is something to bowl at for the bowlers. If they get a couple of early wickets, they will be really in with a chance. The Pacific Sunrays. Right, then the target will be 140 when they come out to chase in this Women's Japan Premier League match number 9, and we will be back for the chase of the ACT Meteors in a short while from now. Right, then we are back here for the chase, and the target is 140 for the ACT Meteors. 140 from 120 deliveries. As once again we see Nonoha Yasumoto operating with the new ball. This time pushed back on towards the bowler. Well, very important out here for the Pacific Sunrays to take some early wickets. The ACT Meteors have a very strong batting lineup. Well, Nonoha Yasumoto has been really good so far in this tournament, and she continues to be here. Meanwhile, a very good shot down the ground, but won't quite find the fence. Only a single. Well, just wanting to have a word once amongst each other to try and make sure that they don't do any silly mistakes. Once again behind square, and they should come back for the second. Well, not quite so. They decided against it. Well, once again cut away, and that will be another single. So that is the end of the first over. A very good one by Nonoha Yasumoto. Right, then we continue now in the second, and it's Ananya Mahajan with the new ball alongside Nonoha Yasumoto once again. Well, they've interchanged the first and the second over. Other than that, the bowling partnership is the same one. Well, it's a decent start, you would feel, for the Pacific Sunrays as they try to defend 139, which is pretty much a par total out here at the Sano International Cricket Ground. A par total, according to the Women's Japan Premier League, that we have seen so far as well. Rachel Carroll and Stella While they are out here opening the innings for the side in yellow, the ACT Meteors, as they try to chase down this total of 140. Well, they would be wanting to search for some quick runs inside the power play, of course, but it's not going to be easy up against Ananya Mahajan and Nonoha Yasumoto. Simon Lou full toss, and it's gone right through. That will run away to the fence. That's the first boundary of this innings, and it's come off the bat of Stella Wilde. Well, that should have been stopped by the fielder, you would feel. But that boundary eases some pressure early on for the ACT Meteors. Once again hit hard, but this time fielded, and fielded nicely. So the last delivery of the second, it's been pushed on the leg side, and they get across for a quick single. So 6 runs coming off the Ananya Mahajan over. At the end of the second, it is 11 without a wicket for the ACT Meteors. And there is the early breakthrough that they were searching for. Nonoha Yasumoto once again amongst the wickets. Well, she has had an excellent campaign out here in this Women's Japan Premier League. Continues to take the wickets. And it's the big wicket of Rachel Carroll. The first one gone, cleaned up. 12 for 1, the ACT Meteors. Well, in comes Amber Smith at number 3. And she needs to play a nice innings here for her side. And that's an excellent shot to get off the mark. That will be a boundary. The first one for her. And now both the batters out there at the crease have a boundary to the name. Brilliant timing on that one. And showing some pure class with that shot. Once again driven. Right then, one more delivery left now in this third over. And once again, a quick single taking. So that is now the end of the third with the score at 17 for 1 for the ACT Meteors. Melania Mahajan is continuing now in this fourth over. And that's another boundary for Amber Smith. She is looking in good nick out there. That's her second one. Well, once again, bowled onto the pads, and you are going to get punished if you bowl that line. Especially with only the two fielders outside the inner ring. It's minimal opportunities for the bowlers. And the fielders, of course, to try and get across for the ball. So Ananya Mahajan has been slightly expensive so far today. As we see once again bowled on to the pads, but this time slightly straighter, and they get across for a single. But still, a Wild Day is now on strike, and this partnership holds the key at the moment. This time the ball has stayed low, wanting to cut that one away. Once again, cut away nicely and in the gap as well. Another boundary. That's excellent by still a Wild Day. A very, very good shot. Picking the gap to perfection. Right between the fielder at short third and backward point. And not much that Ananya Mahajan can do on a shot like that. Well, showing some finesse in that shot. Still a Wild Day. Well, this is her opportunity still available. She hasn't really performed so far in this WJPL. And this could be her opportunity to try and score big. in this chase. As we see a single taken, one more delivery left now in this fourth over. And that's another low full toss. Pushed on the leg side by Amber Smith, closes out the fourth 27 for 1 for the ACT Meteors. Right, then Guhikovic is continuing now. So time for some spin in the Pacific Sunrays camp. This time played on the leg side by Amber Smith. Oh, what a delivery that is. Very close to getting the wicket that they're searching for. Well, it is also important to get a few tight overs in here and not only search for wickets and wickets. This time it's been swept. And in the gap as well, that's another boundary for Amber Smith. Or is it? Well, yes, it is. It has crossed over the line. For a moment, it felt as if it hasn't quite crossed the line because the ball was behind the flags out there. And another excellent shot. Well, Guhikovic does have a bowling run up and in bowling action, a bit like Alana King, you would feel. And that bowling action is the reason why she finds so much of turn at times. Nonetheless, that is now the end of the fifth, and the Meteors are in a good position. Melania Mahajan is bowling a final over. In fact, this is the last over of the power play now. There is a change in the bowling for the Pacific Sunrays. Their fourth bowling option already. And charging down the wicket, hits that one hard through the offside, but only a single. Well, we will have the scorecard updated for you shortly. As the ACT Meteors have lost just that one wicket so far. This time a thick inside edge towards the fielder at fine leg. And once again, not quite able to get the middle of the bat. And this is really good bowling. Not offering much to the batters. Bowling that fourth stump line. The line has been perfect. This time the length is slightly shorter. And couldn't quite take the advantage. Well, that closes out the power play with just the one wicket lost for the ACT Meteors. Right then, fielding restrictions uplifted, and four fielders allowed outside the inner ring now, instead of the two those were inside the power play. Once again pushed through the offside. Another single taken. In fact, they come back for the second as well. So good running between the wickets. And this time went down on one knee and a slight misfield. Well, the chase is on and it finds the fence once again. Well, this is really good batting by the ACT Meteors. They are getting runs with ease now. And the placement once again was just perfect. As we see the ball hit the rope. Once again beautifully bowled by Guhikovic. Very unfortunate to concede that boundary. Well, that is now the end of the seventh, and this partnership is building really well between the two. Well, in fact, there's still one more delivery left in this Guhikovic over. charging down the wicket. And that extra delivery, that one more delivery has been dispatched away to the fence. So very unfortunate for Guhikovic. Just lost some momentum maybe, and the delayed call and a delayed reaction has produced a boundary for the ACT Meteors, who are now going along extremely well in this chase. Right, then we continue once again, this time with the medium pace. Once again guided, and it's running away to the fence. The fielder does well. Guhikovic on that occasion keeps it down to 2. 57 for 1 now the score, and these two are going along really well. Amber Smith and Stella Wilde. Amber Smith on 25 now of 17, and Stella Wilde on 27 of 20. As we see Niharika Gautam continue now in this 8th over. Well, 83 more needed from 77. They are going at a very healthy rate, the ACT Meteors. As we see that one being swept away on the leg side. Once again, just pushed on the leg side. And they get across for another quick single. Well, the two Australians are putting on a show here for the ACT Meteors. And it seems like they are going to head for the third win out of the four. Although still quite a way to go from here on. Although they might be comfortable, a couple of wickets can turn things around and allow the Pacific Sunrays to maybe get the second win. Well, a reverse sweep attempted, and she's missed out there. Amber Smith, knowing exactly where the fielders are. There's a backward point, and then there's the wicketkeeper. So that's a big, big gap. And just wanting to guide that one past the wicketkeeper. So good stuff this by Niharika Gautam. Once again cut away, and another quick single taken. So now one more delivery left in this 8th over. And that will be a wide, so needs to reload that last delivery, Niharika Gautam. Right, the last delivery of this 8th. And this time she misses the run up, so not quite able to close out the over yet. Well, they need wickets here, the Pacific Sunrays, and desperately. This time guided, and once again the chase is on. Guhikovic is after it, and this time the ball is going to win the race. So that last delivery, well, once again it has produced a boundary after a slight delay. And another big, big over. 10 runs come off it. And they just They're just cruising along here, the ACT Meteors in this chase. 65 for 1 now at the end of the 8th over. Right, then 65 for 1 after 8 as we continue in this ninth. Lead towards the fielder at long on for a single by Amber Smith. Well, the asking rate has gone down to 6.25. Would you believe it? As McKinley blows is into a second, the captain herself. 74 required of 71, just a little more than a run a ball. Once again behind square for a single. Well, what a nice little partnership it has been so far. And it just keeps on building, making the chase easier and easier for the batters coming in. They also have someone like Grace Leon still in the ranks. This time shot and pulled away. And that will go away to the fence as well. A brilliant, brilliant shot. Bringing the target down to just a runner ball required. They are cruising through, milking through here. And these two are putting on a show. Stella Wilder moves on to 36 of 23 with that shot. Just a little guidance on the delivery towards that leg side. And now through the offside. But that one will be collected by the fielder. Keeps it down to just one. And that's a swing and a miss. And McKinley blows, strikes. And they have finally broken this partnership. Well, Amber Smith will have to depart. A well-made 29 by her. And is that the wicket that will help them get back into it? The Pacific Sunrays. Well, attacking the stumps. And she's got the reward, McKinley blows. 72 for 2 now. Right then, a single taken to get off the mark straight away. That is the end of the ninth now with the score at 73 for 2. Right, then we continue now in this 10th. Once again, cut away. Well, Grace Leons has come in here at number 4, the captain herself. And she is in very good nick at the moment. This time a low full toss, pushed down the ground, and excellent piece of fielding. A very good stop there by Nonoha Yasumoto. Well, she's enjoyed that one. Well, another very good delivery there. Well, that one is a chance drop, but she seems to be in some pain out there, and we hope to see that she's all right. But she needs some medical attention out there. Well, the landing wasn't quite good. And we hope that she's all right. Well, that one was hit very hard. Well, that is the batting card so far. Still a wild day. A well-made 33. And supported really well by Amber Smith, who is also on 34 now. And still out there. And the captain of the ACT Meteors has come out. Grace Leon's 3 or 4. But it seems to be very difficult from here on for the Pacific Sunrays, as the 64 is more required. Rachel Cal didn't quite get going today. Just the 4 runs for her as we see the bowling card. Nonoha Yasumoto once again top notch. 2 overs, 1 for 12. And a wicket for the captain as well. McKinley Blues, 2 overs, 1 for 13. Other than that, it's been a bit difficult for the other bowlers. And they have been expensive as well. Especially Guhi Kavich, 2 overs, none for 22. And Niharika Gautam also giving away 10 in her only over. Well, as you can see the comparison, they started off slow, the ACT Meteors, but once they are up, they are on the rise. And they are much, much ahead in this game at the moment. Just 64 more needed from 62 deliveries. And with someone like Grace Leon still out there, who has in fact just come out of the crease, it is going to be very difficult for the Pacific Sunrays to get back into it. Nonetheless, good to see that she's back on her feet, and we are good to continue as Noora Abdul Kader has conceded just 3 runs in a row so far, 76 for 2 now after 9.4. And a reverse sweep attempted. Well, a big appeal, and she struck right in front, and she's gone. Well, Amber Smith cannot believe that the finger has been raised. And that delay, once again, the delay. Always we see a batter just struggling, losing the wicket just after a break. And that is exactly what has happened. It's Amber Smith who will have to go back to the pavilion. And Noora Abdul Qadir has done the job with the Warriors, 76 for 3. And they're keeping themselves alive in this one. Two set batters gone. Well, that is now the end of the 10th with the score at 76 for 3. Right then, Guhikavich is back into the attack. Paris Bowler is being joined out there by Grace Leons. And she is now on strike. Well, it is pretty windy out there. And one of the hats is just flown away, and the wicketkeeper not quite able to hold on. Well, maybe can't use the gloves for that hat, only for the ball. Nonetheless, 63 required of 59. Back to cricketing action. This time pushed back at Guhikavich, who is trying to get back herself back on track. She has been slightly expensive, as we see Paris Bowler just push that one back at the bowler. This time driven, but once again straight to the fielder as they get across for a quick single. So off the mark there, Paris Bowler. Well, these couple of wickets will slow down things a little, you would feel, as we see a swing and a miss by Grace Leons. Well, it's extremely windy out there now, and the bails are just flying off. And you would feel that maybe the umpires would want to play without the bails, maybe, if it happens too often. Well, once again, it's a slog sweep, and she's mistimed it as they get across for a couple of more runs. So the last delivery of this 11th remaining. A very good over. There's a decent one by Guhikovic. Once again wanting to sweep, but this time a wide delivery. And now cut away on the offside. So nothing more than a single. Nicely done by Grace Leons at the end of the 11th. It's 82 for 3. Well, once again guided superbly well. It's Paris Bowler this time. Gets a first boundary. And well, quite a few dot deliveries had come in, but now that boundary just helps them in the due course. As we see pure timing and placement on that one. That is a brilliant shot. Another reverse sweep attempted, And she's gone, is she? I'm not quite so. Inase Goto, well, she looked excited for a moment. Once again, beautifully bowled by Owens. Well, it seems like they are going to get the third win here. The ACT Meteors, who are in a very good position now in this tournament, winning the two out of the first three, and this one, well, still some work to do, but you would fancy them to get it done. On the other hand, the Pacific Sunrays are looking for wickets. A couple of more wickets here will make things interesting. Well, now the bails have gone off. It was very windy, so the umpires decided to play without the bails, continuing without the bails. And let's play down the ground. Well, had the throw been on target, it would have been interesting. So the last delivery of this 12th over. Another reverse sweep attempted. And once again, won't quite find the fence. Good effort out there in the field. And they take a couple of runs. So that is now the end of the 12th with the score at 90 for 3. Well, the umpire is having a word with the captain of the Pacific Sunrays, McKinley Blows. And well, just wanting to make sure that if a stumping or something happens, how do they rectify the decision, because there are no bails out there. So the umpire is just confirming that the wicketkeeper, whenever stumping, has to take out the stumps. Can't really just touch it. It has to move. And as we see Paris Bowler play that one on the leg side, well, that's exactly what she has done. And well, that's a dot delivery to start off this final over of Guvikovic. Well, exactly 50 more needed from here on. And they are in a very, very good position. Well, now a free hit coming up to add insult to injury, given as a no ball by the umpire. Paris Bowler charging down the wicket, connects. Well, the fielder, my word, what's happened out there? Is it the wind that has stunned the fielder? Well, she ran in a meter or two and it's gone just over her. Maybe just not able to judge it, or maybe just the wind helping the ball sail closer to the boundary line. Nonetheless, it's a boundary and the advantage taken on that free hit. Now they need less than a run a ball. Well, once again swept, and that's gone past the fielder that will run away to the fence as well. Paris bowler dancing around the wicket and gets another boundary. This is excellent batting. But she's forcing the ball to go in the region where she wants to rather than where the bowler wants to. Well, what a sweep shot that is. Have you ever seen anything like it? Well, once again, Guikovic, after a nice little third over, is turning out to be expensive in her final one. 9 have come of it already. Once again on the leg side, but this time straight to the fielder. So that single brings up the 100. It's 100 for 3 now for the ACT Meteors in this 13th over. And they are turning out to be the specialists in the chase in this tournament. The WJPL 2026. As Grace Leons, the captain, is on strike now. And once again played on the leg side. So that is now the end of the 13th. 11 come off it. It's 101 for 3. Right then, 101 for 3. And it seems like Owens is going to continue. Well, Mecca Owens conceded 7 in her first. Now concedes a single of the first delivery of her second. Paris bowler back on strike. She plays it behind square. And some runs on offer once again. As they come back for the second. In fact, the third too. So good running between the wickets. Brings the target down to just 35 more needed. And also brings her captain back on strike. And now the reverse sweep. And once again, she's missed out there, Grace Leons. But she was well set for that shot. And Mecca Owens just beats her somehow. Once again attempts. This time she connects, but it's gone towards the fielder. Not quite able to middle it. And the fourth one gone. Mecca Owens strikes, and that's the big wicket of Grace Leons. As the ACT Meteors are trying to keep themselves in this one. But once again, not quite in control. And a leading edge, and the simplest of the catches out there. 105 for 4 now. Right then, in comes Bree Dillon at Number 6. This time they get across for a couple of runs. Well, it is less than a runner ball and it should not be an issue from here on for the ACT Meteors. But cricket is a very funny game. As we see another shot played straight towards the fielder at mid-off, that is the end of the 14th. The score at 107 for 4 now. Now then, how crucial is that wicket? It's Niharika Gautam who strikes. Fifth one down for the ACT Meteors. And Bree Dillon departing well, 30 runs still away from this target. And for the first time, the lower order, it seems like, is going to be tested of the ACT Meteors. 110 for 5. And Paris Bowler is struggling now slightly as she loses another partner. Alright then, 30 required from 32. Niharika Gautam gets her first. Can she get another here? Pushed back at the bowler. This is really good stuff by the Pacific Sunrays, trying to keep themselves in this game. And that has been played on the leg side nicely. Single taken. That is now the end of the 15th with the score at Nelson for 5. Right then, Ananya Mahajan is continuing now. She's back into the attack. Well, it struck the pad, but definitely angling down the leg side. As Shimako Kato has come in here to bat. 29 required of 29 now. Once again, it's back to a runner ball. They've got those wickets. Another one here, or maybe two, will make things extremely interesting as they will head into the tail. At the moment, still very much in control though, the ACT Meteors, especially with Paris Bowler out there. As Kato pushes that one on the offside, another dot delivery. This time she connects, and now they get across for a quick single. A slight misfield by Nonoha Yasumoto at mid-on allows them to get across. So Paris Bowler is back on strike now. With 28 required of 27. She has pushed it on the leg side. Well, this is turning out to be a very decent over by Ananya Mahajan. And it seems like this game is going to go right down to the wire. 27 from 26, neck and neck at the moment. Well, they need the wicket of Paris Bowler, don't they? The Pacific Sunrays. It's been hit hard through the offside. Once again, straight to the fielder. Takes the single. Well, one big over is what Paris Bowler is thinking at the moment. That one big over will allow them to get back right in front. And she should be believing that will come and not panic. Then once again cut away and straight to the fielder inside the circle. Another single. Just the four singles of it at the end of the 16th. It's 115 for 5. 25 needed of the last 4 overs. Right then, in comes Nonoha Yasumoto. Well, she has to bowl this over and the 19th one. She is one of the best. With 25 needed of 24, she can bring in that tight over and also apply some pressure for a wicket coming from the other end. Here we go. Yasumoto to Boulder, and Boulder has straight away connected that one. That is a brilliant hit. It is a colossal hit. Whereas that one come from right out of the screws. Takes the bones out of it. The very first delivery that Yasumoto has bowled has been dispatched, and Paris Bowler showing her class and some experience and a lot of power on that occasion, bringing the target down to just 19 more needed. Well, they were trying their best to get back into it, the Pacific Sunrays, and that six has once again just shifted any kind of chances back in the favor for the ECT Meteors. Now through the leg side. And gone! Would you believe it? Well, for a moment I felt that it has gone on the bounce. Well, not quite so, it's gone directly towards the fielder. And Yasumoto, who has been brought into the attack to take the wickets, strikes. Well, wanting to guide that one once again, and what a good catch that is by Ananya Mahajan. And that's the sixth one gone. Paris Bowler's wicket has been taken, and still 4 wickets required here for the Pacific Sunrays, but they will believe once again. 121 for 6 after 16.2. Now then, in comes Monica Gare at number 8. Well, imagine the situation had Paris Bowler got out without hitting that 6. Nonetheless, she has got it. 19 required from 22. And Monica Gare gets back to ball, but straight to the fielder. Well, what a cracking contest this turned out to be. At one stage, it felt as if they will cruise through the ACT Meteors and are now slowly making a meal of things. Well, Monica Gare will get off the mark with that single. In fact, they come back for the second as well. Good running between the wickets. Once again, she connects and takes the single, Monica Gare. Well, that single will close out the over at the end of the 17th. It's 125 for 6. 15 more needed of the last 3 overs. Well, continuing now in this 18th over, and once again they get a couple of runs to start off. Well, Paris Bowler might have got out in the previous over, but she has made things very easy out here for the batters with that six. As Shimako Kato once again charges down the wicket, and she gets a boundary, and that's an excellent shot by Kato. And now they need in single digits, just 9 more required. That's a very good shot down the ground, knows exactly where the fielders are, and gets enough to get it over the fielder at mid-on and away to the fence. Well, 9 required from 16, and all the Pacific Sunrise has to bother about is the number of wickets fallen. 6, they need 4 more. That one has stayed away from the arc of the batter. Ananya Mahajan bowling her final over, none for 24, wicketless today, but slightly economical too. Well, it's been a decent enough chase by the ACT Meteors, although they would have felt that they should have been slightly more comfortable. This time right in the block hole, and nicely played in the end by Kato for a single. Well, that single has brought Monica Kerr back on strike, just 8 more required. Just a couple of hits is what they need here. Right, the last delivery for Ananya Mahajan. It's connected sweetly, but once again straight to the fielder inside the circle, so that will be another dot. Finishes the spell, 4 overs, none for 25. In fact, they got across for a single. That's excellent running. That is the end of the 18th. Now it's 133 for 6, just 7 more needed for the ACT Meteors. Right then, 7 required from 12, and Nonoa Yasumoto is going to continue without any surprises. She needs to strike at least a couple of times in this over and try and keep at least 5 for the last over if she can. She has to bowl a magical over. It's a swing and a miss, first up by Monica Kerr. 7 from 11. Well, the remaining delivery should not be an issue. The issue should be the number of wickets. Can she get another one here, Yasumoto? Once again driven straight to the fielder. They get across for a quick single. Straight away a call of a yes. Brings Kato back on strike, who hit that boundary in the previous over. It's a dot delivery. And now 6 needed of 9. Can they take this to the last over here, the Pacific Sunrise? Just the one run of the over so far. Can she replicate here Yasumoto of what she has done so far in this over? And once again connects Kato and finds the fielder out there in the deep. Just 5 more needed now. Well, Monica again must be thinking one hit. Once again, just turned around the leg side and another quick single taken. Well, straight away they run for it as well without any hesitation. It's just touch and go at the moment. And now just 4 more required to register the third win out of the first 4 games. The ACT Meteors. In this match number 7, and meanwhile, has she got the boundary? Yes, she has, and those are the winning runs. Shimako Kato has finished things off here with the bat, would you believe it? Well, she bowls superbly well. In fact, that's gone all the way. It's a beautiful strike for a maximum, and Yasumoto, who tried her best, all of a sudden has given away some runs, and the Meteors have won this game by 4 wickets with 1 over to spare. It's been a brilliant chase. Well, they maybe lost their way slightly in the back end, but they were still in control and always stayed in control in this chase. 140 was never going to be an issue for them because they have a very strong batting lineup and they have showed us exactly why. For the first time, the lower order being tested. As we can see, the batting card. Well, I don't even recall when they lost so many wickets in this tournament. 33 for Stella Wilder, 34 for Amber Smith. Grace Lyons missed out today, 11. And Paris Bowler, what a nice little innings that was of 28. 28 of 19. And well, she ensured that her side will get close. And Shimako Kato in the end, 16 of 14. With that beautiful strike, a maximum to finish it off in style. And supported nicely by Monica Gare, a priceless 6 not out of 8 deliveries. As we see the bowling card, well, 9 extras provided. And wickets for Nonoha Yasumoto. Very unfortunate that she's conceded 31. And those 31 runs, the pure reason is the last couple of overs of hers. Couldn't quite keep things inside the power play. Once again, she was superb. And a wicket each for McKinley Blows, Niharika Gautam, Noora Abdul Qadir, and Mecca Owens. Surprisingly enough, Noora Abdul Qadir did not get another over. She bowled just the 1 over and gave away only 3 runs and took a wicket as well. As we can see the comparison, well, the Pacific Sunrays were ahead for the first 3, 4, 5 overs. But after that, once that partnership settled in between Stella Wilde and Amber Smith, from that moment, things were very difficult for the Pacific Sunrays as they kept on having those big towers. As you can see, those blue towers, they started to rise after the 5th or the 6th over. And well, then there was no way, there was no one looking back. Well, the Pacific Sunrays did try their best to pull it back, and those dots helped them, but not quite enough. As we can see the match summary, the ACT Meteors won the toss, elected to field first, putting the opposition into bat, and 139 for 6 is what they managed. A decent total in the end, but it was never going to be enough. A couple of wickets for Shimako Kato, and as you can see, Shimako Kato contributing with the bat as well. 16 out of 14. A nice little innings by Amber Smith of 34, Stella Wilde 33. And in the end, almost everyone contributing, especially Paris Bowler, a very nice 28. Yasumoto got a couple of wickets, couldn't keep things tight. And the ACT Meteors win this game by 4 wickets and 1 over to spare. Well, that was it from match number 7 in this Women's Japan Premier League. And the ACT Meteors have now won 3 out of their 4. The Pacific Sunrays have won just 1 out of their 4. And we will be back with another game in a short while from now, which is just an hour away from now. And the Women's Japan Premier League has reached the business end. Well, this was your commentator Piyush Nathani for this game. Until the next game, goodbye.